William Hill sponsors White versus Parker on Sky Sports Box Office.
KUGAN, CASSIUS, IFL TV, MTK Global, Wet the White. Do you think I interview too much?
The problem is, like, you're VW, we know that, right? But
I'm what?
VW, View Horse.
Oh yeah.
Right,
okay.
so you know that I do numbers for you. So you can't resist, can you? I mean, I don't really want to talk to you. You probably don't want to talk to me. But you have to eat your numbers. And you know that this fat geezer is going to give you the numbers.
Think of it like Joshua fighting once a month.
As we are growing the sport to a level where that young lady just come up to you and me off camera and said, "Oh, you're the interview guy. Eddie, when are you going to sign Usyk?" I was like, "Sorry?"
A young girl, if you could see her anyway, we'll get her in.
You should interview her later. But
I will do.
It's good. It shows. Well, what these interviews do are they get people talking. And the more people discuss boxing, the more people debate boxing, the better for the sport. So that's why you'll find people stopping me saying, "When's Bell you going to fight Usyk?" Or "Who's going to win on Saturday, Parker or White?" Or "Do you think Wilder will sign the AJ deal?" So people are talking, just like they're talking about who's going to sign for Spurs and etc. etc. So where people aren't talking about sports, where people aren't interacting with sports, that sport is dead. So what you are doing is provoking topics of conversation.
Trying. Do you know what I get a lot? You know, I live in Essex. No. Yeah, I live in Essex, where you live. I go out in Essex every now and again. People go, "Where's Fatty Eddie Hearn, eh?"
I get the same thing.
I was at the Russian embassy the other day to pick up my visa.
Yeah.
Some geezer pulled his window down and went, "Cook, is it room or shoom?" I went,
I've heard that a few times. Well, I also do get, Eddie, where's KUGAN? Where's Coogie Bear? Oh, man, I don't know.
Right.
The best one is, like, especially in this weather at the moment, you might be going around and you think, I'm just sweating my bollocks off. I'm just going to get the tube to Bond Street, get on a tube, and you just think, please, no boxing fans on this tube. I'm like drenched in sweat. It's like, Eddie, oh, mate, do you think Brooke Khan's going to happen or what? I don't know, mate. Hopefully, mate. You know, yeah. Well, what about?
Do you get on the tube?
Of course, I get on the tube. How do you think I travel?
I don't know. You got the tube here?
I got the train here.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
No tube required.
Okay.
As you know, being an Essex boy.
Right, news today.
Yo.
Joshua, 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Big news.
Yeah, big news. I mean, it was always going to happen, and we've known it for a long time. Obviously, when you're papering something like this, it's a very complex procedure. But we agreed terms 2 or 3 months ago, you know, to extend. But just been running the paperwork. Obviously, it was in tandem with Sky Sports as well, which means that he'll be boxing on Sky Sports for another 3 years as well. So it's a massive moment for us, a very proud moment. Matchroom is a family business, okay? And when I talk about family, I extend that to the employees, to people we deal with very closely, to clients. So we don't work off a corporate structure where there's a big board of directors and no one can make any decisions without it going through that process. So the speed of which we've grown makes us very proud, and part of that growth has been the responsibility and you know, the development of Anthony Joshua. So to get him to commit to the business for another 3 years, and although it's a 3-year contract, I believe Anthony Joshua will be with me and Matchroom and Sky Sports till the end of his career. But he's also of a size where you have to paper it, if that makes sense. So some fighters you will work off a handshake or you trust implicitly, and I trust Anthony Joshua implicitly as well. But obviously now he's the biggest star in the sport. So Sky will require, and generally, to paper it.
Who's the bigger brand, you or Joshua? As in Matchroom?
Is that a joke? Oh.
No, Matchroom or Joshua?
Well, I mean, in boxing terms, it's Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is the biggest brand in world boxing, as far as I'm concerned. He's the biggest star in world boxing. So, yeah, but as a global business, as a global brand, I don't know. We're not really a brand. We're a business, but our events are brands. Our assets are brands. Our fighters are brands. Now, the PDC is a brand, the World Snooker is a brand, the World Championships is a, darts is a brand, the World Championship Snooker is a brand, the Grand Prix going on at the moment is a brand. So, I don't know. I mean, World Match Play, these are brands. Matchroom, yeah, I guess it's a brand, but it's a business, it's a way of life for us. And I am honoured that I've had the opportunity. You remember when we first started out, we might have been in the game 3 or 4 years, and the biggest criticism we would get is, well, when they've taken someone from debut to World Championship, let me know. But obviously, as we've evolved, we've done that with a number of fighters now. So, and to do it with the biggest star in boxing, we've been there from the debut. So we've built this with Anthony, and I'm also very proud of him, the way he's built his brand and his business. He's a very clever man. He's developed his own management company. He keeps everything in house. He makes his own decisions, and the two have worked brilliantly together. And people say, "Oh, he'll leave Matchroom. He'll do his own thing." He doesn't need to do his own thing because we're the best at what we do, and he's the best at what he does. And we have a brilliant partnership that has been absolutely flawless from day one. And I know it's very, very cringy, but I do see him as part of the family. So I will go that extra level every time for him and make sure I continue to deliver. And I won't let him down. I've never let him down, and that will never ever happen.
Is he contracted to a certain amount of fights within that 3-year period?
It's a minimum of 5 fights.
Minimum of 5.
Yeah, but
is that including the Povetkin one?
The Povetkin fight will be the first fight.
All right, so
yeah,
he'll.
So it'll probably be 6 fights minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
Contractually 5.
And what about as in terms of money? Is that dependent on
he
what
owns,
the
he
fights
owns
are?
everything. So he owns the shows, as you know, the model that we use. If there's a deal in a fight, like a Wilder fight, where another offer comes in, that could change. But the model that we use in terms of the ownership of the show is the greatest model in boxing, because the fighter will always see every penny that comes in, and will always get every penny that comes in. So that's why sometimes relationships don't work, is when a fighter is on a purse and they're looking around going, how much money you made tonight? And that's changed a lot over the years with promoters, because promoters used to make more money than fighters. Now we're taking a small percentage of a fighter's purse, but the relationships will improve over time because they get to see everything. They get to see everything that comes in, all the money. So there's never any doubt, there's never any questions, and it's all very transparent.
And in terms of America, obviously we know he signed to his own for the Povetkin fight, but moving forward, is there a future with any of the other broadcasters in America for Joshua?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything's down to the vision, the deal itself, and he liked the zone as a business. He liked their owners, he liked the money, and moving forward, they have the Povetkin fight. They'll have a first and last with Joshua beyond that. And if someone pays more money and they can't match it, it'll go elsewhere. But we're not in the business of jumping broadcaster. We're with Showtime for a long time. They couldn't come up with the money for Anthony Joshua, so we moved to DAZN. We're not looking to go back to Showtime, go to HBO, but who knows what the future holds. Contractually, all I can do is tell you the situation. Del.
Picking this back up.
Yeah, wait.
Joshua, look, about the...
Oh yeah, the contractual. So all I can tell you is the contractual status, which is 1 fight on DAZN plus options, and in the UK, at least 5 fights on Sky, and forever.
Okay. All right, moving on. Obviously, we spoke about the whole Saunders Andrade thing yesterday, but has anything kind of happened in the last day or so?
No, not really. It looks like October 20th, and we'll finalise that over the next few days. Hopefully get a press conference out in the next sort of 2 weeks, because Billy's going to want to make sure that's dealt with early doors. And then, get cracking. All good. Great response. All good.
Yeah. Should be fun and games at the old press conference, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, obviously it's a lot of rivalry between the camps in terms of Matchroom and Warren and Andrade and Saunders, and probably a bit of Dominic Ingle and Andrade's dad. So it's a good narrative. It's good for boxing. Great that we reached this deal, and like I said, shout out to MTK for mediating that and getting it over the line. Even shout out to Frank Warren, because he had to approve it at the end of the day. But ultimately, like as I said to you yesterday, when it's a great deal and you've got people acting in the best interest of the fighter, things get done.
Is there, like the plan forward for these situations to happen again, where you know, you can do deals without things going to purse bids. Is a mediator kind of what's needed in between
I think
that?
always, look, I don't think Frank's going to generally want to do a lot of business with us, and he has a job to do. Whatever he thinks of us, he has a job to do to deliver the best fights and biggest fighters for BT. It's exactly the same job as me. So it's not personal, it's just that's our business strategy. So the fact is that sometimes that's not possible, sometimes it is. Sometimes a deal emerges that is so good, you just can't avoid it, you just can't say no. And you can't restrict the career of a fighter in that respect for the good of your own business. Do you understand? So in a situation where I say, this is the offer for the fighter and it's so much money, what right have I got to say, no, you can't take that, mate, because I've got to deliver for Sky, and you know, what, so you're going to pay me a third of what I'm being offered because of your deal with Sky? It's not right. So a management company's job is to act in the best interest of their fighter, so you know, wherever they can work a relationship and, you know, conflict with broadcasters, great.
If Joshua Fury is to happen, the role of someone like MTK could be quite pivotal then in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think once you get to this has been born off a mandatory situation.
Yeah.
So if we had a mandatory situation with AJ, where you know it was going to purse bids or whatever, then obviously if we lost the purse bid, we might have to go on BT and vice versa, or there might be a huge offer from another broadcaster. Then we might have to sit down with Sky and say, look, what, you know, you saw that with HBO and Showtime with Pacquiao Mayweather. Sometimes there is a compromise to be made. So this is good progress, but as always, I keep saying, you know, it's not always about politics. It's more about the deal and the money. If the deal is right, anything can happen. But having someone in the middle helps, because we probably aren't going to agree anything with Queensberry, and you know, you've got a fighter and their representative and dealing between the two, the deal and the promoter, and it's complicated, but it was successful.
Talking of Pacquiao, any more developments? Have you had any more contacts?
Had an initial conversation with him, his team, sorry. And I think they're just fishing around right now, seeing what's on the table. I think, you know, they're a free agent, and they want to know the deals that are available. They want a huge amount of money. If that's possible for Khan, for Brook, to fight in the US, we'll look at it and we'll see.
Any more signings on the horizon, US-wise?
Yeah, there's a couple of youngsters we'll be announcing next week, and got our eye on a few fights this weekend to see what happens, and you know, some big ones on the way.
Tell me about your 6th of October card then. Who's actually on that? Johnson, Beterbiev?
Yeah, Johnson, Beterbiev, Jesse Vargas, Jarrell Miller as well. Katie Taylor originally on that show as well against Serrano. She's fighting this weekend, make sure she gets through that okay. Andrade, we're moving now to October 20. We've got Danny Roman against McDonnell, which is going to be on the 20th as well. She's going to speak to them, maybe we put that on the 6th. So in the next literally 48 hours, we'll be getting our ducks in a row to sort out which way we're going to go with regards what fights on where. But Vargas, Beterbiev, Johnson, Jarrell Miller, October 6th. October 20, Andrade against Saunders.
Likely to be Boston.
Yes, I think so, Boston, yeah. And probably Hooker against Saucedo. If we win that purse bid, that's probably another fight that's going to go to purse bid as well.
All right, this is probably the last time I'll speak to you before, obviously, after tomorrow night, so
yeah.
Why should people tune in?
This show, I don't have to sell it anymore. It's tracking massive already. It's a complete sellout at the O2. It's going to do huge numbers. It's a great night of boxing. Put your barbecues on Sunday. Get out in the garden, get your tan on, crack open a couple of little beers, come inside at 6 o'clock, put the TV on, leave the doors open, let a little bit of breeze in as well. Sit down and watch 6 hours of great live boxing entertainment just for you.
Can you just mention something about Brandon Cook?
Yeah.
There's a lot on social media about how obviously we've broken and Eggington, and you know, what have you kind of sorted
him out? So what happened with Brandon Cook was he was due to fight Kell Brook, and Kell Brook got injured, and then we looked for a replacement fight. We managed to get a Sam Eggington fight, and then he got injured. So I thought that's probably the worst bit of luck I've ever seen. So I said to him and his manager, look, why don't you fly over for the fight? Come over, see London, we'll put you up, we'll obviously pay for everything, give you a few quid for your training expenses as well, and then we'll have a meeting and reschedule a fight, whether it's Eggington or to fight in America. And and I had that meeting yesterday with Tyler Bucks. They're real nice people, you know. He'll fight anyone. So we'll be doing the next fight with Brandon Cook, and he's currently bowling around London somewhere, enjoying himself. He's very unlucky, and people don't see that side of boxing where a fighter might train for 7-8 weeks and then a fight falls through and they've had to pay their camp out. So the least we could do is bring him over, bring him to the show, enjoy London, give him a few quid, and then make another fight for him as soon as possible.
Who's going to be there tomorrow night?
In what respect? What? Oh, what?
People
Names
that I
for
would
you to
have
get
this in
views?
front of.
Oh, right, okay.
BW.
Tony Bellew, David Hay, a few footballers.
What ones?
Gareth Southgate, Jordan Pickford,
Southgate?
Sterling.
As soon as they're the third one, I was like...
There's a few. I think there's a few England players coming, so don't worry. We'll try and get you in front of them.
Sterling, get me Sterling.
I saw Sterling in Ibiza.
Yeah?
I was there for a couple of days last week, and he was on the beach. Actually, I would like to say this. Sterling, I've never met him before. Well, I know he knows AJ and stuff like that, but he has obviously had a lot of stick, right, from the media and stuff like this. Let me tell you about Sterling. He was on a beach in Ibiza with his family, and literally this beach was packed. It weren't a swanky beach club. I was there with my kids. My friend was there with her kids as well. Now I've got 2 girls. They don't know who Sterling is. Actually, they probably do for the World Cup, but my friend's got 2 boys. They were like, "That's Sterling." I went, "It's not Sterling. He ain't going to be just here." Anyway, I noticed from the tattoo, funnily enough. So I thought, "Oh, can we go and see it?" I said, "Listen, just like leave him. He's just come back from the World Cup." Anyway, in the end, I went over there. I said, "How you doing, mate?" He played football with these 2 kids on the beach. They were doing kick-ups for like a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, and I was like, "All right, lads, come on." And he was going, "No, it's fine, yeah." So, first impressions last.
I bet that don't make the papers.
Don't judge someone till you know them.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know Sterling, but
Yeah.
all I can tell you is after that experience, what a guy to do that. These 2 boys have not stopped talking about it since. So big up Sterling is all I can say.
Okay. I've got one more thing to say to you. Are you aware of the podcast, New Age Boxing?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
It's like,
Yeah, all right,
I don't know, he spends his whole life talking about me every second of every day.
Right, okay. So, they want to interview you.
Yeah.
Right. So, what I thought was a good idea, the guy's name's Martin. They, by the sounds of it, believe that they would ask better questions than me, and they would press you on things and push you on things to do with whatever, okay? So, if Martin will be watching this now, I'm prepared to film the interview and put it on IFL. Not for them to go on the podcast.
With Martin asking the questions.
With Martin asking you some questions. Are you up for that?
Yeah, you know I'll do anything, but I would like to put a message out to that Martin geezer that I've never met in my life. Get a life, mate. Jesus Christ. There is so much more to life than moaning about tickets, undercards, analysing every word that I say. Mate, if you want, I will send you a poster of myself. You can stick it up in your room and you can sit there every night under your little Transformers duvet just having a little look at Eddie Hearn. Mate, there's beer, there's football, there's women, there's life, there's jobs. There's all these great things out there in life. Sample them. Don't worry about me, I'm boring.
If I can present Martin, will you give him 5 minutes?
He's always welcome to an event.
All right, I'll work it out. I will film it.
What he has to do is, he has to get over this infatuation with Eddie Hearn.
You can talk to him about that.
Okay, because it's genuinely like we're almost at a stage now where I have to report this and say like, there's this guy, he's like, it's freaky. You know what I mean? I know I'm handsome. I know I'm an attractive guy, fun-loving, great to be around, but this is just too much.
All right, I told them I would ask, so I'm going to ask, but I'm going to film it. All right, Eddie Hearn, thank you very much.
William Hill sponsors White vs Parker on Sky Sports Box Office.